Hello, my name is Jeannie Morgan. I have been in the Bible doing research in scripture. I'm going to guess maybe the end of December of 2025 to possibly in January 2026 is when I started. And the reason why I started is that over the past few years, there have been different things that happen in my life, as I'm sure it's happened. Some things have happened to you, maybe different, maybe the same, I don't know. And but these things pretty much kind of traumatized me, and it just kind of kept piling on, piling on, piling on. And it started with the death of my husband. He was my rock. We didn't know, we weren't married very long until we weren't married very long. We didn't know each other that long, but he made such a huge impact on my life. God really placed him in my life to give me this foundation to prepare me for the upcoming seasons of my life. And I'm so thankful for that. When he passed away, of course, I grieved for a long, long time. Just kind of felt like things were unfair because I was in my 50s when I met him. So there you go. And then after that, I have a son. I have two sons total. Okay. So I have one son that struggles with addiction. And he's still struggling. I have not talked to him since April 10th of 2025. And there was this whole big process. I reported him missing, talking to people. I hired an investigation group. I was just a frantic mama and heartbroken because he just disappeared, and I didn't know what had happened. And then in August of 2025, I found out my other son was diagnosed with a rare cancer that lines his skull, and he was going to have to go through the harsh chemo and radiation treatments. And he did but at the very beginning, I was like, my goodness Lord, what is happening? My husband died, my son goes missing, now my other son is battling cancer. And just like everybody else, sometimes we ask the question why, and I focus my thoughts and everything on, Lord, why is this happening? Why, I have been kind of on the straight and narrow for a while, and I felt like this was just very unfair. But sometimes God allows things to happen. He allows things that you're going to have to deal with. But I found out that he's going to get you through it. By the end of Christmas of 2025, I was at my breaking point. I was crushed. I am an educator, so thankfully I was out of work because I was not handling work well either. But starting at the Thanksgiving holidays, my son had started his chemo treatments, and they were very, very harsh. And he was sick, very sick. One of his diagnoses was adult failure to thrive. So he lost a bunch of weight, and it was just a lot of things, happening. And by the time Christmas gets here, everybody's like, "Woo, Christmas, yay," And I was just devastated. And over that holiday period, I don't know the exact day, but over that holiday period, I was breaking. Like, again, I'm in this deep pit, and it was like I couldn't breathe. The only thing I could focus on was all the, bad things that were happening, all the things that I didn't want to happen. So, and I cried out to God several times. I cried out, couldn't talk to anybody because I was always crying. And I cried out to him one of those days during that Christmas holiday of 2025 last year. And I don't know, something in me changed. Something I felt like the pressure of my heart being squeezed was just lifted. And the only way that I can explain that is like I was in that deep, huge pit. And I was trying to climb out. I was climbing and scratching up against the dark dirt walls. And it was like Jesus reached his hand down into there and he said, "Come on, beloved. I'm right here. You don't have to go through this alone." And so he helped me out of that pit. Now, was it overnight? No. I mean, it just slowly and slowly. Every day since the time that I felt that my heart was let go, the pressure was releasing, I was like, okay, I've got to do something. So I did. Over the past year of 2025, I had found me some friends that could relate to what I was going through, a missing child. And we began advocating, just emailing everybody in our cities and all this stuff. News stations, big, huge news stations too, like John Walsh or something, because we wanted our voices heard, because as moms, we felt like we were being ignored. And we were. Just straight up, we were. Our children weren't babies, you know, they were adults. Or they are adults, sorry. Let me fix my tense. They are adults. So we finally got on the news for our stories to be heard, and I was so grateful, you know, for that. And my son happened to not be in our local area. He was actually across the states. And so on January 8th, he was finally put on that state missing website since April 10th of 2025. So it took however many months that is. What is that? 8 months, 9 months. Took that long to get put on the state missing website, but I was grateful. My son's birthday is January 31st. So we're in January now, and he finally got put on January 8th. And on January 14th, the day of the great cell phone outage of 2026, they had located my son. Sorry, but they had located him, and I was able to receive the body cam footage. And I was able to see him. I was able to hear his voice. He had said on the body cam footage that he had broken ties with his family, and so I was thankful that he was alive, first of all, because again, at Christmas, I just thought he was dead. I did. I thought he was dead. That I couldn't understand why he wouldn't be calling me, because we were so close. Anyway, so I was thankful he was alive, but he did say that he was breaking ties with his family, or he broke ties with his family. So I've respected that, and I just pray for him every day, every afternoon, every evening. My other son, beginning in January 2026, was super sick. Couldn't keep anything down. He had lost all this weight. And he was in the hospital. So, thankfully, he got better. My oldest son with the cancer, he got better. He did have another season of sickness around in April, but right now he is doing wonderful. He no longer has the headaches, so he is doing great. He's doing great. My youngest son, I still have not talked to him, but I've accepted that, finally accepted that I cannot control anyone's behavior. I cannot control anyone's, and I can't control my son's. And I think that's what was the issue with me, is because I couldn't understand. Only God has that control. And I realized that only Jesus could save both of my sons. And so I released that control. Sometimes I try to tug it back. I'm not even going to lie to you. Sometimes I try to tug it back, and then I have to also say, no, Lord, it's yours. It is yours. So one of the places, or the main place, I'm going to say the main place, I had decided in January that I wanted to know God more. I had a foundation. Okay, I was a believer. But I wanted to know the Lord more. And I said, I'm going to just start from the beginning. I wasn't going to do a Bible study. You know, it kind of focuses in on a topic. And then it just, you're kind of all over the place. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to start from the beginning. And I'm going to tell you, it has been an amazing journey. I have learned so much about God's heart towards people, towards me. I have learned so much about myself. Just reading the Word. It's like spiritual food. I mean, I just get filled up every time I go into one. So what I had started doing was I'd read Genesis and did searches on the chapters and stuff and made notes. Then I decided when I got to Exodus and Job. And when I got to Exodus, I decided, you know what? I'm going to put these videos online just to document my journey as I go through the Bible and research things that interest me and just what I read out of it, what I glean for it. I have started putting the notes into this particular Bible with spiritual meaning behind certain things or some things, and because this is going to be handed down to my granddaughter. And I have other Bibles that I'm doing kind of the same thing with. That's going to be for my grandsons. So this actual project, today's date is June 23rd, 2026. I probably will not get done until 2029 or 2030. But that's okay, because I try really hard to do one chapter a day. And right now, again, I'm an educator at summertime, so I have lots of time that I can spend with God in first thing in the morning when I get up with my coffee. So, thank you for watching this. Again, this is my journey. This is what I'm reading out of it, and what I'm finding, the spiritual meaning out of Scripture, and what I'm hanging on to, because healing is taking place in me. Joy is coming back into my life. I can smile and it not be fake. I am loving the best way that I know how. I have grown more compassionate and more empathetic to other people, because God uses every circumstance, whether it's good or bad in our eyes. He's going to use it for good. And in this process, He is healing me. And I'm so thankful, because had it not been for Him, I don't know who I would be today. I don't know how erratic I would be today. I don't even know if I would have survived today. Well, the doorbell rang. So, anyway, thank you again for watching this video. The purpose of this is just to document my journey on what I learned, and I'm absolutely fascinated by it. But I'm documenting my journey on what I learned and what I'm finding out of it. Sometimes I may say you. I am not a preacher. And I may say you because I'm going off the notes for that day, for that chapter. And again, this is going to my granddaughter. And so I'm telling actually her, but sometimes I have to look back at my notes because my brain is mush. I seriously think it's a combination of things. It's my age. It's the medication that I have to take at night to sleep. It is trauma. And so my brain is mush, so it's hard for me to retain information, so I have to write it down. And I'm writing notes to her. So if I say you, sometimes I try to correct myself, but if I say you, I'm actually talking to my daughter, because again, this is the documentation of my journey. So if you want to know more, I'm going to try to figure out how to post my Google Doc that kind of goes into detail as well. If you feel led to reach out to me or whatever, please do so. Anyway, peace and blessings. I love you.